Or pass spin come. Rare off-season stream poggers.
Why is it so surprising? Why is it so surprising I'd have an off-season stream? What is surprising about that? I literally said we're gonna have an off-season streams. I literally said that.
Dog, when you left for finals, we were under the impression you'd be gone for like a week and a half.
Did I not? Okay, did I not mention I was going to the wedding in South Korea? Did I not mention that? Did I not say I was going to South Korea for a Killer's Cast wedding?
Old Avast wouldn't stream in the off-season.
A wedding takes a day? I was in South Korea for 10 days. I was in South Korea for 10 days. Not one day. I didn't fly 14 hours across the world for a single day.
You always say you do that, then you never do.
Why do IRL streams? Okay, so I did give you IRL streams indirectly with Bryn. If you think about it.
How dare you leave us while the league gets placed into the cryo chamber and the players go hungry and homeless.
Bryn did all the work. Bryn bought a stream backpack. He bought one. Listen.
Question mark.
It was like $2,000, man, for a stream backpack. No joke. No joke. No kizzy. Oh, this is a little big. Let me turn that down. No kizzy. No cap. It was like $2,000. I'm like not going to spend $2,000 on a stream backpack.
I can now officially say I've hugged this guy, wow.
A Joker moment. No kissing? No kissing. Let me get some thanks here. Light Lord with the tier 1. Thank you. Bolting Cake with the Prime. Thank you. Not a rare off-season stream, by the way. Advice, thank you for the tier 1. I was gone for a month. I'm going to give you guys that, but I wasn't planning. So I came back from South Korea, and then I caught COVID in Korea. So I wasn't planning to be gone this long, but then I got COVID, and then I was sick for a bit, and now I'm recovered. And then I had to do like a bunch of stuff, essentially because I have how Misfits works is that I have a bunch of PTO, but it doesn't roll over. So also I was having to get all this stuff done before I go on vacation, essentially for Christmas, because I have to use all my PTO up. So I had to get all this shit done as well once I got unsick. Doom Patty K, thank you for the Prime. Ano, thank you for the Prime.
31 months.
Visor Data, thank you for the Prime.
Alexander Vast Pog Bull Bitch.
EagleFanboy, thank you for the Prime. This is the Prime. The tier 1 and the question mark. Solomon with the tier 1. Guys, I hugged Solomon. Can you guys believe it? I finally hugged Solomon and saw his face. Can you believe it? I paid for Solomon's dinner. I went and I had a nice dinner with Solomon and Mel. It was a good time. It was a good time. We had some ramen. It was pretty okay. It was some pretty alright ramen. All things considered. Zartorx, thank you for the tier 1. Jazz Rack Rabbit. I will potentially play. I don't think I'm going to play Pikmin today, but I'm going to play it tomorrow. So my current stream schedule for the time being, I put it on Twitter. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, since we don't have co-streams. And then weekdays when I can fit it. Because I still do plat chat and other stuff. So, stream schedule. Hey, I just announced it. I put it on Twitter. It's written. Like Hammurabi. Etched. Until I have to go home to go see my family. Because I'm going home. Well, actually, I'm going home to see my family in Texas over Christmas. So, thoughts on this emote? Untamed. Isn't that the horny wolf emote? Isn't that just for a horny wolf posting? Isn't that just for a horny wolf posting? There are too many horny wolves. There are 2 wolves inside you. Both of them are horny. Both wolves are horny inside of you. If you could believe it. Yeah, because isn't this... Is this a 7 TV? Right? Am I thinking of this correctly? Where's Untamed? Where do I find this? I need to find Untamed. I need to find it. I also need to keep thinking. Jazz Rack, thank you for the tier 1. I'll talk about the wedding shoes incident, by the way. Red Light, thank you for the tier 1. Thank you, Amanja, man. Thank you for the tier 1. What's up? I believe you sent me some messages and I haven't read them yet, Amanja. If this is the or Amanja, man. I don't remember. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that terribly. I'm so sorry. But you might be the person I'm thinking of. Pirate Spy, thank you for the prime. Alert on 1, thank you for the question mark. And the tier 1. Thalia, thank you for the tier 1. Pixelogic, thank you for the tier 1. We have to thank everyone, and then we're gonna get back into it, okay? Pixelogic. Didn't you see him 3? Thank you for the tier 1. Valiant Hero, thank you for the prime. Lego City Undercover, I have not heard of that game. Bear Square, thank you for the tier 1. 39 months. Steffe, the tier 1. There's a kitty in your lap. There was a kitty in my lap. She ran away. She ran away when I started yelling. Gosu Butters, thank you for the prime. Taylor, thank you for the 42 months. It was nice meeting you. I did meet Taylor. She was just as I would say just as small and weak as I imagined. IRL. That's how I would describe Taylor. Sunnyside, thank you for the tier 1, but very nice. EUAUE, thank you for the tier 1. For the love of God, don't play Pikmin. We're not playing Pikmin today. Zigman, thank you for the tier 1. Untamed. Matador, thank you for the prime. Oh yeah, this is the bitch Bulborb shirt. This is the bitch Bulborb shirt. Do you guys like it? Do you guys think it goes well with the stream attire? What are you guys' thoughts? And BC Laxo, thank you for the prime. Welcome back to a real country. Thank you. Thank you. And then Hot Dog with the tier 1. Okay.
It was nice meeting you, Mr. Prince.
Bitch. My face with no madness. We haven't even begun. Society. We haven't even begun. We literally haven't even. The madness is just beginning. Of recounting all that's occurred. Of everything that's happened. We're have to thank like a million people because unlike those big ivory tower elite streamers, I say thank you to the people that show up, put it in the hours, losing the brain cells, making memes. I put in the hours. Thank me, thank you, Azzy Jazzy.
For the love of God, don't play Pikmin.
Did you pay those guys to rob Bryn? It was okay. So also related to that, Bryn doesn't know what a scam is. Bryn doesn't understand the concept of what a scam is. Like, he said, I've been scammed. He said in our group chat, I've been scammed in Japan. I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, I went to a bar and people robbed me. And I'm like, that's not a scam. You've just been robbed. Like, you've just been robbed. Like, it's not a scam is a little bit more complex than that. When you've just had your wallet stolen. Like,
bitch,
that's not a scam. That's like saying, I went to Paris and some dude fucking pickpocketed all my money from me and my family's vacation. Oh, what a scam. What an incredible scam, though. It's like Theranos. I've been Ponzi schemed. It's like, no, it's not a scam. You've just been robbed.
Welcome back to
I've just been robbed, man. What a fucked up day. What an actual fucked up day, you know? So yeah, I was like, Britton doesn't know what a scam is. I don't even know where I'm supposed to begin. Where should we even start talking? Where should we begin our stories
Hope you're
today?
Feeling better from being sick, bud. Good to see you back in the land of the living.
I don't even know. Also, holy, I didn't see that. But Sane with the 20 gifted during this, I didn't even see this. Thank you, Sane, so much, along with your tier 1. I appreciate that. Wait, the TTS has got to catch up. The TTS has got to catch up. But thank you for this holiday season. This way.
Haha.
Were you at finals, Toby? I met a lot of people at finals. I also filmed some people at finals as part of a segment that's going up on the Mayhem YouTube because we need content desperately. So I'm sure some people I met will be in that video.
Haven't seen you since January 6th last year. How have you been?
January 6th last year. Speedy Kermit, thank you for the prime. Also, that doesn't January. I guess that's about. Wait, really? What? No, that can't wait. Wait, today's December. January's next month.
Lol.
My brain's off. I was about to say this can't be right. This can't be right. Can't believe this. I was like, what's happened here? Like, this can't be possible. It's also not next year yet. Don't listen. Leap Switch, thank you for the prime.
This guy?
Listen, I had COVID brain. I'm allowed to. I'm recovering. I'm recovering. Thank you, Sane, for the tier 1. He's saying he saw me at the Capitol. Hey, were you the guy with like the bear skin rug over his head? Was that you? Anyone else? What I really liked was when we all shook hands in Nancy Pelosi's office. Anyone else up there? Anyone else shaking hands with Nancy in Nancy Pelosi's office? Oh man!
Involved in a bank heist and blame the bank.
They're coming. They can check my geotags. They can check my geotags. What the fuck? What was I doing on January 6th? I think I was like, I might have actually been. Where was I? Was I back home in Texas? I don't remember. I wrote the Capitol. Making up an alibi. I was hiring the finest data impersonators and data spoofers. Aubrey Links, thank you for the prime. Cosmilk, thank you for the prime as well. Bruno involved in a bank heist and blame the bank. Yeah, very true. And that was Sane Girls 20 gifted. There we go. TTS catching up. Thank you, Sane Girl, again. Very huge from you. And Reagan with the tier 1. No Pikmin. There will be Pikmin not today, but tomorrow. Probably. I'm playing after we do talk time, we'll move to game time, where you guys will CBT me via the Redneck Simulator game for a bit. Because it's been a while since we played that, and I enjoyed that game. The Team 26, they give it the tier 1. Begin for saying hi to your local Dilby. Throd33, thank you for the prime. Tortle, thank you for the prime. Sea Spice, thank you for the tier 1. Oh boy. Okay. Can we watch this together? Cocaine Bear. I did see Cocaine Bear was announced. It's based off a true story. But I wonder if it's based off a true story in the way The Watcher was. I don't know anyone who watched The Watcher on Netflix. They took some creative liberties with that story. They took some creative liberties. How long do you plan to stream? I don't know. I'm thinking I'm going for at least 4 hours or so. 4 hours or so, probably, is my plan. The true story is the bear ate a bunch of cocaine and OD'd. Okay, so they've taken some creative liberties because the bear just ate cocaine and died. Is the real story. The bear was untamed and just ate cocaine and died. So it's not going to be super factual. Legitimately dead. Yeah, the bear had a massive heart attack. What a way to go. Huh? What a way to go. The Watcher was literally just an experiment to see how many times someone can say the house without going insane. But no, because the house was a center aspect of the show, I feel, and the story. But the World Cup's on, don't care. Literally don't care. The only thing about the World Cup that's interesting or fun is England tying the USA. That's been the only fun part of this whole World Cup. Everything else has been an awful, terrible experience. It's followed up by like the FIFA head being like, let's host it in North Korea. I'm open. I don't know if you guys saw this article. I thought it was fake. The FIFA head then is like, what if we do North Korea next, huh? Like, what if like, I'm open to North Korea as the next spot. Like, I'm just like, excuse me? Have we learned nothing? I'm just incredible. No way, it has to be fake? No, I'm literally going to find the article right now for you. Here it is. I found it. Let me open this bad boy up. It's incredible. The headline is FIFA president open to North Korea hosting the World Cup. And I'm like, okay, this has to be taken out of context, right? This has to be taken out of context. Wrong! FIFA is a global football organization. MT reportedly said, any country can host an event. If North Korea wants to host something, you know, there were some bits. I actually went to North Korea some years ago to ask North Koreans if they're ready to host a part of a women's World Cup. Like, this is not like oh, taken out of context type of thing. I was like, I've never seen, oh, this is the wrong one. I've never seen this before. I'm sure all footy fans have heard this. I had not heard this before. But I just found that crazy and very fun. So yes, pretty much my World Cup experience is I don't really care other than seeing British people suffer. British people suffer has been the only enjoyment from World Cup for me. What's up, Slandy? DevCon, by the way, thank you for the tier 1. I think I already thanked you earlier, but I can't remember if I did or not. No, I didn't because you're newer. But thank you, DevCon. I was in the cryo chamber for a little bit. Tortle, C-Spice, thank you for the tier 1. I agree, Dante Nine Outlaws is a Joker Society moment. Wi-Fi, thank you for the tier 1. Can't believe when I met you at Overwatch League Grand Finals, you killed me. I did kill several people at Grand Finals. The Liver King is a fraud. I did... God. There's too much news. I don't know why that's funny to me. One of my coworkers also sent me an article saying the Liver King was on a massive amount of steroids. And I'm like... A, who cares? But also, isn't this really funny? At the same time, Gears Elite, thank you for the prime. Almost 3 years, true. Lilo, thank you for the tier 1. Bobo DC, thank you for the tier 1. Tap2 GG, thank you for the tier 1. Kiki-san, thank you for the prime. I'm sorry I broke your sub badge. And then Dark, thank you for the tier 1. Who is Liver King? Okay. This is like, we're going off on a tangent here, but I just gotta go through it. So essentially, Liver King, I'm gonna show you this is the man. Let's find a less visceral picture of him. All of these pictures are, this is all right. So Liver King is essentially this guy. He looks like a roided out gorilla, right? An absolute roided out gorilla. But his whole thing is that he's part of this weird wacko industry of like, you should be like a primal man. And primal men only eat meat and they eat it uncooked. Which is just like so dumb on so many levels. You know? And then he was like, I got this physique completely natural, only eating my raw fucking liver. And that's why he was like the Liver King, because he ate so much liver. And then of course he didn't, because no human body looks like that. No human body looks like that. And then it came out via leaked email. It's like, oh yeah, I've been taking like $12,000 of steroids a month for the past like year and a half, 2 years. I'm like, obviously you have.
Then what the hell am I doing
Like,
here?
obviously. So, it's just like, and then it was just like, I think you will find cavemen all look like that. Dude, if cavemen all look like that, what happened? That's essentially like the wolf, the dog pipeline meme, you know? Of like, the noble wild wolf. What if we eat some scraps by this human being's fire to like us now? But I don't think that's the case. I think also, primal humans learned how to cook food with fire so they would get more nutrients and live and survive. Eating stuff uncooked is just stupid. It's literally the opposite of primal. But whatever. You know, I just found that as a funny piece of news. How do you know you were there? I wasn't there. That's fair. What's up? Bye-bye, Sane. Yes, the Avast stream is happening and is back until I have to go see my family. I changed my name for the 4th time. Why are you doing that? Stop changing your name so much. How am I supposed to thank you if you keep changing your name? But thank you, Banahan, for the prime. What is the name of the speakeasy in Korea? I go to Seoul a lot and I like going to cool bars. Okay. I'm going to tell you the name of the speakeasy we were soft banned from in South Korea. We were soft banned from this establishment because we ruined the vibes.
Not being on Outlaws is my Joker Society moment.
The speakeasy was a Toki bar. It's in a hotel. It's in a hotel. It's a very nice speakeasy. They serve soju cocktails, and generally soju is like a 12% liquor. But they did this special home brew where it was 50%. 50% alcohol. And they made these cool cocktails. They had all sorts of interesting flavors, including like, they had like a tomato flavor, a mushroom flavor. And so we went there, I went there twice, I believe. Once.
Can't believe when I met you at Owl Grand Finals, you killed me.
Once with like, dude, the TTS is so far behind. Once with like Danny Lim and Josh and Sideshow and, some of my friends from college that came with me to South Korea because they wanted to go at the same time, and then once with like Bryn and Jaws, and I can't remember. I think maybe Swing Ship.
River King is a fraud? I'm devastated.
Dude, the TTS is so far behind, man. So it was so far behind. But yeah, that's the bar. It's a great bar if you're in Seoul. You do not go with if you do go with a large group, do not be drunken foreigners. Okay? We got told that by both the patrons and one of the bartenders. Most of the bartenders and the owner was cool with us, but the patrons and one of the bartenders was like, "Shut the fuck up." They told, because the speakeasy is supposed to be like a chill, fun environment, and the patrons of the speakeasy were not happy that we kept coming back with like 6 to 7 people in various states of drunkenness, and then getting more drunk. And like yelling, and like getting like real and pobbing off, just absolutely pobbing off over there. So this, to be fair, so like we're fine at all the other bars because other bars you're meant to be loud. It's just this was a speakeasy, and generally speakeasies were not loud, but generally also you don't go with like 8 people that are all attending a wedding and also visiting South Korea.
Howdy, Avast. Hope you're well. So
like. We were essentially soft banned from that bar after our second visit. So I'm on a cooldown period from Toki Bar until the next time I go, and then they'll forget about me. There's no way they're gonna put our faces up with like a don't let him back in type of thing. There's no way. It'll be fine. But yes, if you're ever in Seoul, great bar, fantastic bar. Do not accept dumb Americans. It wasn't only Americans. We had British people, and I'm making a call-out post. 2 of the worst offenders were Korean. Okay? Call-out post. Absolute call-out post. 2 of the worst offenders of our group were Korean on the second visit. Okay? Call-out post. So this is not all on the foreigners. This was not all on the foreigners by any means. This was on Swing Chip and Alice as well. Okay, this is a call post to Swing Chip and Alice, the former Fusion University manager.
1+9 phone from the mail today. Let's fucking go.
They were so loud on the second visit when we were there. Absolutely. Snitching? Everyone's blaming the Americans on this, and it wasn't only the Americans. It was maybe we had at best a shared responsibility.
I changed my name for the 4th time.
Memo Streams, thank you for the Prime, by the way, in the 4 months. And Avinton, thank you for the Prime. Did they try to argue with the staff? No, we didn't argue with the staff. And it wasn't really the staff. It was the patrons of the bar. The patrons of the bar were yelling at us. It was the patrons of the bar.
Speakeasy in Korea?
It was not so much the staff. The staff were just like, oh, like, we're pretty chill. Because also it was, I don't know if it was owned or partially co-ran by like a German guy that lived in, I think it was a German or a Swedish guy that lived in Seoul. I can't remember. But like, the staff was pretty cool with us. They were happy for the business. It was just the patrons that were like, bro, shut the fuck up to our group like 2 different times. So yeah. So that's why we're having a soft ban, I'm coming back. I'll go back to that bar if it's still open a year or 2 or so from now, or however long. So yeah, so it was a classic. I've actually never been yelled at in a bar before, like to be quiet until that moment. So that was the first experience for me.
It's from Blade Runner 2049.
It's a nice bar. It was a nice bar. I mean, it's kind of futuristic.
Avast! No shot you've never been yelled at in a bar coming out of Texas and in
Prime
Florida.
ratings, you think, with tier 1? Yeah, I've never have. I mean, I've had people get annoyed at me in bars. Like, also in a bar in Korea. I got really drunk at Achilleos' wedding on like, not at his wedding, I should say, the day after his wedding, and we went on like an after party type of thing, a bar crawl, and then I was like talking to him and his newlywed wife, and I was like super drunk at that point, and I was like, I swayed or something and dropped a glass of beer, and like the owner was like, oh, like, let me come clean this, and then apparently he was muttering some stuff in Korean under his breath about like this stupid drunk idiot or something. So that was like, but like, once again, I've never been yelled at. Never got yelled at per se. Bailey, thank you for the Prime. And then Crestfallen, thank you for the Prime, Mr. Crest. Pokemon stream is never, because I don't like Pokemon. Well, that just seems reasonable, though. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's reasonable. I was a stupid drunk idiot at the time. I'm not upset about that allegation. I'm not even upset about the soft ban from the speakeasy allegation, because we were too loud. But holistically, we were too loud. I think if we had gone there with like 3-4 people, we would have been fine. But when we had like 7 to 8 people, that was an issue. That was the issue.
This emote, but rename it RELEASCME because Sigma memes.
What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What is this emote? What is this emote? You want to call it release me? When the bartender sees 8 people walk into their speakeasy, their chill ass speakeasy. That's the bartender.
I did my math. I brushed my teeth. I am going to Chuck E. Cheese's. Chuck E. Pog.
That's from Venom, a good ass movie. I know Venom. It's a fine movie. I watched the second Venom. It was also fine. The problem I have with Venom is that, who's the guy that plays the reporter again? Like Eddie Hall or whatever. What's his name? Fucking Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy looks like he hasn't showered in like 2 months. In all the movies. I don't know why Tom Hardy looks like he hasn't showered in so long. But and that's not even really what's necessarily wrong with the movie. It just annoyed me. He's just English. And there's nothing really that wrong with the movie. I just didn't think it was that good. I think the first one was better than the second. For Mad Max, I thought it was a fantastic look. I think the not showering look made perfect canonical sense in the Mad Max films. Perfect canonical sense. So, why are you being racist towards English people? The fish and chips make them oily. First of all, let's put a quotation marks around people, please. Put a quotation mark around that. Before we go too far. I mean, Eddie Brock is broke as fuck in a shithole apartment. Do you think poor people don't shower? Do you think people with less money cannot take a bar of soap to their body? They can't brush their teeth and take a shower? Eddie doesn't go. I mean, maybe it is okay. Maybe I unlocked a great argument here. Is this a central part of Eddie's character that he doesn't shower? Is that like a tenet of his personality? Is that actually true? He's a bum. I don't know. Depends on the writer. So the writers determine. So it's canonically shifted on if he showers or not, from story to story. It just canonically shifts from comic to comic if he showers. What a strange plot point. What a strange plot point to be shifting on. Like every other hero, I feel like every other hero there's far bigger plot points for them to be shifted upon than do they shower.
I have just noticed that Carl on Duty League is streaming on Twitch now instead of
They
YouTube.
are.
Surely this means Owl is coming back to Twitch right
Well, the
soon.
interesting part about that actually is that Call of Duty League is only streaming on Twitch.
44 months. Pog.
They're not
Also
dual.
thoughts
They're
on the
not
hero?
multi-streaming. They're not multi-streaming. Thoughts on the new hero? Have I missed something? New hero? Last hero that was released was... Oh, Ramatra. Oh, for some reason I thought you meant like after Ramatra. I was like, wait, which other... Like, what? I thought for some reason my brain was like, oh, there's another hero that just got a release? But, oh, you're talking about Ramatra. Ramatra's cool. I think Ramatra is also like another test to see how much flatter can we make Ryan players' dicks. How much flatter can we make Ryan players' dicks with Ramatra? But I do think that like it's a cool. I think it's like the direction you have to take the tanks in, because in general you kind of have to make the tanks a little bit. They have to be a little overdeveloped. I feel like in the Overwatch 2 environment, they have to be a little bit overdeveloped. You know, they have to be like Liver King. Ramatra has to be. That's why he's got a tank form. That's when he eats like 30 pounds of raw liver and transforms, and he's like, I'm all natty, bro. Because you kind of have to make your tank. You kind of have to make your tanks a little bit overdeveloped in Overwatch 2, I think. So I think the philosophy with him is cool. Actually, I think his kit might be slightly overkitted potentially, but the philosophy for like how they're gonna build tanks moving forward is cool. So I'm cool with them. I also think we've had the soft boy Omnic. We needed the goth boy Omnic, or like the edgelord Omnic, and that was Ramatra. We needed that. Grow roots. Thank you for the tier 1. Did we already have Bastion? Well, Bastion, okay, the problem with Bastion is I don't know what the fuck he's saying. That's fair. Bastion is technically more the soft boy Omnic, but I still don't know what the fuck the guy's saying then. Don't know what the guy's talking about. But sure, like I mean I guess Bastion would be the soft boy, but I think we needed a Ramatra of that, so Zin is MLK and Ramacha's Malcolm X. Yeah, I mean, from like an omnic perspective, yeah, essentially. I don't think Zin's quite... I mean, Zin's more Buddhist than he is, like, I guess, like a Christian, you know, reformer in a way. But still, I don't think... But, you know, either way, I think that's like... I think it's all, you know... I hate the idea of a tempo tank. Last time they pitched a weird subclass, we got Brig. Well, it's not really a subclass, though, in it. It's not really a subclass.
Do you have a problem with Buddhists?
Not really a subclass, though, in it. But, I mean, that's more of a description of how they view the tank character to be this particular tank character to be played. I don't think it's like... They're not going to make a... But, I mean, actually, well, maybe. Because tempo class, they could be like, oh, we're going to make tempo tanks now, theoretically. But tempo tank is kind of just like... That's kind of like a meaningless word. It's kind of a meaningless word, though. Like, I guess they did specifically say they could be a tempo tank, or like, we're going to make tempo tanks. It's kind of a meaningless word, in a way. Because, like, what does the tempo... Like, tempo means, like, a bunch of different things. Like, is Tracer a tempo DPS? Is Genji a tempo DPS? Is Hammond a tempo tank? Like, tempo is like a very... It's literally like a very wide open word. So, they can flow with the fight. Tank form versus Omnic form. Well, I mean, so can Hammond. I would say so could Rhine. He could be shielding or not shielding. Like, obviously, there's a more distinct form to it, right? But, like, it's kind of like, you know, it's just a word. It's like, it doesn't really denote much. It really doesn't denote much about, like, what the tank does, honestly. So. Don't care, Winston clears. So. Like, all cooldowns are a tempo of sorts. How many players you have alive is a tempo. Like, you know, it's just so. I did not fall for your rickroll. No, I didn't. Fall, thank you for the prime, by the way.
Example of a tempo tank from another game that isn't
Paladins!
Overwatch. I dunno, whatever.
Paladins? Wait, Ashe? Wait, we already have Ashe in Overwatch, though. This Ashe looks different. Where's Bob? Where's their ability list? I need abilities. Talents. Battering Ram. Reduce your damage taken by 75% while using Shoulder Bash. Ah, the Iron Shoulder. Guys, the Iron Shoulder said he's done, potentially, with Overwatch League, too. Did you guys see that? You guys see the Iron Shoulder said it's over? He said it's all over. Slug Shot. Your weapon shot travel 50% faster, 100% further, but no longer explode. So we give him the Grape Shot. Well, actually, that wouldn't be Grape Shot, but I don't know why. They learn rifling technology via the Civ Tech Tree. And Fortress Breaker increases Siege Shield's maximum health by 2,000 and its size by 5. Are these talents? Oh, here are their actuals. It's skills, not talents. I've never played Paladins, by the way. Fire Burst of Shrapnel. That explodes deal 40 damage. Charge your weapon back. Your next shot deals 450 damage to your enemies. Creates a moving shield. That seems, you know, that's okay. Shoulder Bash. And wait, the name is literally Assert Dominance? Assert Dominance? Holy fuck. What a name. Leap forward and slam your banner down, dealing 600 damage and stunning enemies and impact while becoming damage immune as long as you stay near your banner. Wait, that's fucking crazy. Wait, you just put down the fucking banner? And you're immune to damage? That's crazy. That's actually a crazy ability. Crazy ult. Yeah, it just sounds like Orisa ult, but better. Because you can, like... Actually, Orisa's ult's pretty good. Her old ult was pretty good. But I guess her new ult. It's like a better version of Orisa's new ult. Because this is instant, right? So. Talk about Smash drama. Oh, yeah, the Panda Global stuff. I did see the Panda Global stuff. Where they released it. I don't know. For anyone that's not aware, essentially Panda Global are villains of Melee. Also, just for anyone that's not aware as well, whenever we complain about developers, just remember it could be worse. You could be a Melee fan. If you're an Overwatch League fan and a Melee fan, I'm sorry. You're truly entered the pain zone. If you're an Overwatch fan and a Melee fan, that is ultimate pain. Like, absolute ultimate pain. You have like two of arguably some of the most like inept developers. One of them that's actively hostile to the scene with Nintendo, and one of them that's like fumbling the bag constantly. Like, you think Blizzard and Activision and Overwatch League fumble the bag with Overwatch League Esports? Nintendo literally hates their own esport. You literally hate their own esport. Is his real name actually Avast? It's short for Arnold Vast. It's Arnold Vast. That's what my name. It's short for that. No longer Alexander. I'm Alfred Vast. I'm the if you guys don't know, you might know me from the small sort of comics. I think his name is Batman. I'm Alfred Vast. I did see Ludwig's holding a Smash tournament. So pretty much for anyone that's not familiar with the lore, because this statement means nothing to anyone, is that there was going to be a giant Smash tournament. It had like 350k prize pool. They've been in talks with Nintendo for a long time to get licenses and like agreements. Then supposedly like right before the event is like getting, essentially like a couple days ago out of the blue, Nintendo's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're not going to give you a license. And the last person that tried to like run a tournament without a license got cease and desisted by Nintendo. And so then the tournament organizer was like, oh, Panda Global, which is an esports organization that has a lot of fighting game players under its banner and learn a lot of tournaments. They have their own tournament they got licensed for, and they've officially partnered with Nintendo. And their CEO was essentially like, you guys, like, don't fucking run your tournament. Like, we're going to get Nintendo to take you down. And was like complaining to Nintendo. And then essentially that's what happened. Yeah, the day before Thanksgiving. So, like, because Nintendo has a very big thing where, like, we'll only let stuff with official licensee being done, which isn't super crazy because, like, technically for Overwatch events, any prize pool, I think over, like, a $10,000 or something, you have to be officially licensed by, like, Blizzard Esports. You have to get, like, a permission by Blizzard Esports or like, Overwatch League, and I think it's mostly Blizzard Esports. So, like, it's not unheard of that you need a license. It's just Nintendo requires it for, like, everything and are, like, super strict about it. So, supposedly Panda was, like, bullying other TOs, and, like, this other main event that was happening, they, like, essentially complained to Nintendo to make sure they didn't get a license. COD League season premiering doing numbers on Twitch. Well, I mean, Twitch is the platform. There was more live viewership on Twitch. I don't know what that means for Overwatch League, though, to be fair. Because Twitch also, COD League is exclusive on Twitch. COD League it's not a multi-stream. And what I want from Overwatch League is multi-stream. I want it to be on YouTube and Twitch. And like every other platform. But I don't know why they didn't get so why it's just exclusive, because like did Twitch pay another exclusivity? Did Twitch pay another exclusivity deal? That's pretty shocking if they did. Because I'm wondering, because generally Overwatch League and COD League have pretty similar broadcast deals. 120k viewers for COD's pretty damn good. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. I feel like if I'm remembering properly, the average viewership for COD was like what was it, like 40, 50k, which wasn't like terrible. Maybe less. Which wasn't terrible. I mean, it was better than Overwatch League at points. So, like, but that's pretty high for COD. Unlimited Miku, thank you for the prime and the 6 months. COD Pepe laugh. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about COD, but, like, the point being is that Overwatch League was hovering around 20k. Pretty much it was hovering around, like, 20, 30 until we hit the end of the season, and then we had, like, the playoffs and grand finals, and it was like, whoosh. So, yeah. But also, I think it was like early season, it was pretty decent. Then middle of the year, we had like pretty low, 20 to 30K. And then we hit the end of the season and went way up. So, yeah. But, I mean, drops. But also, I mean, there's a reason why Twitch increased viewership. There's more live viewers, easier to get drops. So, there we go. More live viewers, easier to get drops. So, yeah, I don't know what that means for Overwatch League, honestly. I'm excited. I want Overwatch League to be multi-stream. I do not want it to be Twitch exclusive, honestly. Falca, they give you the tier 1. Unless Twitch paid like a buku bag. Thank you. Thank you. Dude, like, the Bullboard bit shirt is a classic. Such a crying shame that YouTube shifted their attention and resource from live streaming to shorts. Well, A, I don't know if that's true, but B, if it is true, the reason is because shorts make you way more money and do not require as many resources. Short form content, you can literally farm money and it does not require nearly as much server capacity compared to hosting and like farmware compared to like having a live stream platform. So can't wait to have an official Blizzard sponsor co-stream. That's the other thing. I want it just to be multi-stream too, because that way I can co-stream on any platform. Essentially, I get officially licensed. Is there any worry of viewership splitting between the two? I mean, viewership split doesn't matter because you just take the collective whole of all the viewers. Like, you just take all the analytic data from like a stream. It only matters to like Redditor one-heads that are like, I can't believe this stream only has X number of viewers, while like there's like 3 other streams that also have a bunch of viewers. So viewership split doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. So yeah, wow, I feel so clear after recovering from. I'm pretty sure I was the person that gave our group COVID in Korea, because I got the worst hangover of my life after the night I got really drunk in front of Seth and Achilles and his wife, and then the hangover reduced my immune system, and I'm pretty sure I was the one that originally contracted COVID in Korea. But I feel much better now is the point. But I was about to remark how much more clear-headed I feel now. I feel renewed. V-Schwab, thank you for the tier 1. Mike Hands. Talk about New York's plan. I don't think New York's plan is happening anymore, right? Didn't that change? Didn't New York... Wasn't there like a... Didn't that plan supposedly shift? I heard about that plan in Korea, actually, mind you. While I was in Korea, I heard of many things in Korea. But I had heard about that plan that they were supposedly going like a full women's / like just non-men's roster. So, and then I guess things got leaked, and then they just like, holy shit. Someone stole my Avast bucks. Can you find them on the blockchain and give them back? How did they get stolen if they're on the blockchain, bro? They're literally on a chain. How did they get stolen? Come on, guys. Technologically illiterate. Technologically illiterate sometimes. How could they steal your money? It's literally all blocked and chained together. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, everyone universally panned it that it was going to be an awful fucking idea. Because it was like clear, from my perspective, it was clearly we don't want to pay money to have a roster. We want to get a marketing gimmick and not support them in any way, versus like investing in calling out heroes in the tier 2 scene to like elevate marginalized talent. So, and they were going to get like stomped into the dirt because like also, because one, and this is also partially on me, I can't think of very many currently good female players, and like openly non-binary players as well, like marginalized gender players. I can't think of it, like other than Aspen and like Geggery. Other than Aspen and Geggery, I can't think of like very many top rated. And then there was like also like I believe Haley, who is is a trans player, used to be known by Halo, correct? But the problem is like 2 out of 3 of those players are support players, correct? So I think that's still like, if you have like, you can't have a full team of supports. Aspen, Amareth, Barcode, SK, Geggery. Okay. That is 3 supports, correct? Isn't that 3 support players? So Spark says otherwise. Okay, fair enough. I mean, if they built a 12-man, if they built a Spark 12-person roster and had like 4 support players, then maybe. But I also don't think Barcode. I don't know about Amarori but I don't think Barcode is currently high level enough. The only people I can think of that are actually Overwatch League level are potentially Aspen, and I think the jury is still out depending on like what we like see from her personally. Geggery, who's had previous Overwatch League experience, and then like Halo. So, but I mean, overall, like, it's also hard to say because like the issue with a lot of like female players, right, is that they don't get a lot of the opportunities to be on like different types of contenders teams comparatively. So like they don't get as much experience, right? So it's really hard to make the comparisons because we just don't have the data for them. So yeah, it was a disaster, but it's gone. It's done. It's done. It's been defeated. The evil's been defeated. The evil's been defeated, and we are not going to get like a token roster that the org is not going to support in any way to just fucking use as a gimmick versus like actually investing into the ecosystem and bringing up female talent. So, have you seen Simler's recent tweets? Man is losing it. I unfollowed Simler long ago. I unfollowed that guy long ago. That guy is legitimately insane. So, I've unfollowed that guy long ago. So I do not know too much. Well, I do know, but I don't really want to. How are finals? Finals were good. Finals were actually pretty good. My one complaint still, so drops. I know everyone's mad about drops. Whatever. Like they're fixing that. I just wish it was a full LAN event for all of the time, right? Like, I wish we had like a full a full LAN event for all of postseason, pretty much. That's my only complaint. And I know the drops is still fucked, but limited LAN was smart to reduce COVID risk. I mean, I'm going to be real with you. Like, I think it was smart, but it still sucks. Sure, it was smart, but it still sucks. Still sucks. At some point, we're going to have to, like, I still think there's a point where we kind of have to admit we just have an issue. Like, we're never going to be able to finish, like, really get away with it. Just have backup solutions in case a team catches COVID, you know? Because otherwise we're literally never going to have real events again, you know? We're just never going to have it. I think at this point when we have enough vaccines and like we don't have a crazy hospital like load currently, I think it's fair to run a grand finals LAN event, a postseason LAN event myself. Especially because it doesn't have to be LAN the whole time. I'm just saying like I meant like postseasons, like, you know, they did the 2 different postseasons in the region. I wanted both regions' postseasons to be done on LAN. It doesn't have to be a crowd, but I wanted to be on LAN. It's like how they did the grand finals, right? Playoffs. It was on LAN, but there was no crowd until the grand finals. So that's what I was wanting. Bitch Pog Bulb. Thank you, Nix, for the tier 1. From your knowledge of next season's roster, do you think about multiple teams that can potentially compete for winning the league? Actually, okay. So I will say, post-reflection, by the way, for rosters, the rosters are actually looking a lot more competitive for certain teams than I expected because of the explosion of APAC. I was not expecting for certain players to go to certain areas, but because APAC has fucking exploded, there's like, I assumed a lot of teams because of cost-cutting measures and Also, just like because like you don't want to pay for visas, we don't want to have like translators, such a et cetera, like stuff like that. Any sort of that infrastructure. I assumed a lot of teams were going to mostly go with Western talent, which is still kind of true. Like a lot of teams are prioritizing that, but there's a lot of Korean talent that is coming to Western teams that I wasn't expecting because they literally can't get paid in APAC anymore. Like there is no money in APAC anymore. It's gone. Like, there's literally no one is looking. Like, all the teams have blown up because of the NetEase licensing problems. So, like, no one really knows what the direction of the Chinese teams are. And, like, Seoul and Fusion are, as far as I'm aware, like, pretty committed to, like, a lower cost direction. Are there a couple really good Western teams well spread out? Honestly, from what I've heard some interesting ones that it seems more spread out than I expected.
Have a 3-region league again: Atlanta, Fuel, and Shock.
I've heard it's a little bit more spread out than that, honestly. I also don't think Fuel is a guaranteed. I don't think Fuel is a guaranteed they're gonna have a great team next year. By the way, I don't think Fuel are guaranteed gonna have a great team next year. There are some things from the org side that are potentially not promising. So, we'll see. We'll see. We will see. But they won it all last year. But I'm not saying they won't have a good team. I'm just saying that, like, there's no... So it's not like how Deepay said. Deepay hasn't had a job in the ecosystem in months, right? And, like... So, like, I'm not saying Deepay was necessarily, like, wrong. It's just maybe he was a snapshot. He was a snapshot of, like... It was a snapshot of, like, the ecosystem when he was hearing from people at that time. It's changed a lot since he made that tweet. Like, everything has changed significantly since he made that tweet. So... Hazard's going 1 and done would be incredibly disappointing. I mean, it's like you think... It's implying, though, that you think... Guys, Fuel is not Envy anymore. Fuel is Optic. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? Are you reading between the lines what I'm saying with that one? Fuel is no longer Envy. It is Optic. So, let us go. Think of the tier 1 in 43 months. Is cost cutting specific to Overwatch League, or is Valorant going through something similar? Valorant kind of did, and a bit during the early scenes. Valorant, the thing is, there's a lot more interest slash... Yeah, but Hashro is still in charge, so it's Envy. I mean, there's different levels of in charge, I'd say. And, like, what the direction they think their organization should go. But Valorant is... They've gone through some cost-cutting stuff in certain ways, and I've heard, like, there's certain cuts coming to other parts of Valorant.
Canadian Tornado?
Also, people overinflated in some respects, like the amount of resources that were in Valorant to begin with. So, like, I would say it's just a general esports thing across the board. It's not just, like, Valorant obviously doing better than Overwatch League in terms of, like, resources invested, but it's kind of just industry-wide. So, very industry-wide, the cuts that are changing. Because also, it's part of not just the financial situation for, like, the world, but, like, a general shift in strategy for, like, orgs. It's a very shift in strategy in orgs. Are there any teams having high budget teams? If so, why? Yeah, I think there still are a few, and my why is your guess is as good as mine. So, for example, I'm going to tell you something, guys, crazy. Just that I didn't know until it was examined. So, someone pointed out to me that Overactive Media, the investor group that essentially owns Toronto Defiant and, like, Toronto Ultra and stuff, and Mad Lions, etc., their, like, estimated market cap value was like 24 million Canadian dollars, which is not that much, by the way, for a company. The buy-ins for Overwatch League at the minimum for, like, season 1 were like 20 million USD. But Toronto Defiant were also one of the highest spenders, you know, in terms of salary. I don't know where the money's coming from. And they bought in season 2. So, like, I don't even know. I don't know what's happening there. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what's going on. I simply don't know how that works. I simply don't know how that works. So I don't know what's going on with that. Next topic suggestion: fast food tier list. Okay, fast food tier list. Shake Shack goes towards the top. In-N-Out mid tier. Whataburger actually below mid. Arby's pretty low. Moonbeam Malak, thank you for the tier 1. They are taking it from the Canadian Mounties, just running around with Canadian gold. Trust. Yeah, trust. McDonald's just had the McRib leave again. I don't give a shit. McDonald's is always a solid, like, they're like, for fast food, they're like a solid mid, because it's relatively consistent. They're not good. They're not awful. Always like a solid mid to me, in my opinion. So, but I also don't eat McDonald's very regularly. So, okay. What's next? But yeah, I think across the board, I think the rosters are going to surprise people. And they surprised me because I expected a lot less Korean talent to be making its way to the Western teams and orgs this year. But because APAC has exploded, Korean players literally cannot get paid. If you are a player in APAC, the current reality is you can't get paid. You literally can't get paid because none of the teams in China know what's happening. And like Seoul and Fusion are kind of like going to a much lower tier like budget. So like there's a lot more Korean talent willing to make their move over to Western organizations, I think. Because there's just no money in APAC anymore. And there's no guarantee. And the thing is, there was you could trade that money sometimes. Like a lot of players are willing to still go to Seoul and Fusion and places like that because they want to remain in APAC. They want to remain in Korea. They want to remain in China, like for example. But what about the Chinese talent? The Chinese talent, I've heard literally nothing about them making over. So far from everything I've heard from org sides, from talking to Chinese players are impossibly hard to get over to the Western org teams. Because most of them, it seems like a lot of them prefer to stay in China, which is not uncommon because the Korean players like to stay in Korea a lot of the time. But also, like, I'll say the orgs do be pulling some interesting stuff with the Chinese players at times. The orgs do be pulling some interesting contract stuff with Chinese players occasionally. So, like, sometimes it's like just like incredibly hard to get them over. And also because of the COVID like protocols within China, like that's another reason why it's sometimes Chinese players and talent are afraid to like come to the States. So, and like, there's all sorts there's all sorts of like political like economic restrictions on top of like orgs sometimes doing weird contract stuff with them. Like, I heard how, like, there was a Chinese player where, like, they were like, hey, I want to find out what my buyout is for my contract. But the thing is that he didn't have a copy of his own contract. They just kept it in the org HQ. The copy of his own contract. And he didn't even know what his contract, like, was. And I was like, that's, like, bizarre. So they had to go, like, ask, like, hey, can I see my contract? Can I go see that? So, and they did give it to them. But like, it's still just like weird shit like that, It's like weird things on that respect. Weird stuff about that. Bernard? No, it's not. This was not Bernard. But like, so I don't think they've done anything besides Valiant. I don't know if they've done everything ever particularly like insanely egregious. They've just done weird things. So yeah, I haven't heard much about the Chinese talent making their way over to Western orgs. I've heard a lot more about APAC talent, though, shockingly. So I think the talent's going to be a little bit more spread than we expected based off some previous rumors. Which is, to be fair to the people that essentially DPay that made that tweet. Like, DPay made that tweet, like, how many, like a month or two ago? Or something? How long ago did he make it? It was, like, essentially, in esports time, it felt like months ago. So it was never going to be like a perfect snapshot of it. Talking about the rumors of American Tornado. Isn't that they're going to Defiant or something? Like as a team? Is that like the rumor? Is that they're all just going to Kasura's or something like that? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because Defiant have also alternated between two philosophies for this whole time, because they're like, okay, guys, we want like a pretty good team. Season 1. Oh shit, this is a disaster. We want a marketable team. Season 2. Or I should say Season 2, we want a pretty good team. Season 3, we want a marketable team. Season 4, we're going back to like full Korean. We want to be good again. And we did that again like this year, right? And now like they were like, well, what if we just like went back to being good? What if we also became good and marketable? And like Angry Titans makes sense in that respect, if that's what the case. Also, they're one of the few teams that has like the bunch of money to throw at them to like keep the whole squad together. They're like one of the only rosters that actually, one of the only orgs that are willing to throw money to keep them all together. So, not Angry Titans, Toronto Defiant. I don't know why I said Angry Titans. I'm going to say American Tornado. Because I see 18, for some reason I think Angry Titans. American Tornado. I don't know if it's true or not. It just makes sense because very few organizations have money to keep all that roster together. They have Kasaurus as a head coach now. And, like, I know they've been struggling with, like, what do we want our dynamic to be in the league? Like, what do we want our, like, brand identity to be, per se? So. Heard Houston is picking up Clockwork Vendetta. Clockwork Vendetta, 100%. They're definitely coming back. The Krefeld Krakens. Yeah, the Krefeld Krakens. That's 100% happening. 5 years in, they figured it out. Well, to be fair, 5 years in, there was really never an opportunity to have like an all-Western super team ever. Once again, I don't know if that's exactly happening with Defiant, but there's never really been an opportunity in Overwatch League to have a Western super team. Because of the fact that, like, they were all under all the best players you would get were under various contract stipulations. And on top of that, like, also in the past, there were other orgs willing to pay money to keep talent. Now there's no one really ready to pay a bunch of money to, like, compete with big offers. Outside of, like, a very select group. So, Paris picking up the Odyssey core. Is that what you're saying the Western super team is? Is that the Western super team? I don't think so. But I don't think so. I did see that Faustus was like randomly just dropped a lol on their new head coach's announcement. I was like, what is that guy doing? I was like, what? What's that man doing? What's going on over there?
Avast! Arr!
Rated King, thank you for the tier 1. Wait, is that different from... Are you related to Liver King? Do you use anabolic steroids? You use anabolic steroids as well? Marlon _ thank you for the tier 1 and the 42 months. So yeah, I think Dante Vancouver. I mean, honestly, they kept Aspire, right? I'm assuming they +1'd him, is my guess. And they +1'd his contract. Dante were to go, you'd have Dante Aspire, which is like a decent starting point. That'd be a decent starting point for a roster. So that could be interesting. They hired Askoff. Yeah, I saw that they hired Askoff, but I don't think, like, I don't know. I think a lot of people are like, oh, Askoff is just going to remake Boston again. But the thing is that, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but based on my memory, Askoff didn't necessarily make the Boston roster. It was Laurie. Laurie made the roster, then they fired Laurie, and Askoff had to work with the roster. So, like, and also on top of that, like, in terms of building an okay, like, think about where Vancouver can go, right? Where Vancouver was, like, turbo ass. Even at the end of the season where they had, like, good moments, they were still pretty fucking bad. Like, think about where they were at last year. Even if they, like, took a bunch of the Boston core members that we would think are, like, good, like some of the Western members, they would probably be okay. With like imagine Aspire, like Aspire, Crimzo Punk, Faith, and like I don't know, fucking like Seeker or something, like right, like that. Maybe not Seeker, but like the point being is that like that's not an awful starting point for a roster. King, you know, even King, like that's not an awful starting point for a roster. Like, and then if they were able to get like Faith or something, like right, like or maybe they somehow got like Sam, like right, like there's some potential there. But I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that, like, Askoff going to Vancouver doesn't necessarily mean Boston's going to be remade because he didn't make the roster on Boston. And B, like, getting some of the Boston core, honestly, is not terrible. You know, it's not, like, awful. And realistically, Boston should have not been as turbo-ass as they were. Vancouver should have been as turbo-ass as they were. The roster was not good to begin with. The roster for Vancouver was never good. Boston's roster should not have been that bad with like how the performance was. So I think it was a little unfair. It's like a justice situation. So yeah. So overall, oh my god, dude, my brain is like, this is the most I've had to think about Overwatch in a bit. I've just been like going, even at grand finals, I was just like running around doing dumb shit, filming people. And then we recorded, by the way, I don't think it's been out, but we recorded a drunk podcast at the grand finals of the Overwatch League. We're not drunk, but like a tipsy. Recorded a tipsy podcast with a certain coach, which I think was pretty decent insight, honestly, for a pilot. It was pretty decent insight for a pilot. I'm not going to reveal who because, you know, where's the fun in that? Actually, no, there is fun. With Unter. We did it with Unter. Why was it? We had Brad Rajani. Brad Rajani in mind. And then Brad agreed to it. So here's the thing. Actually, this is a whole story. So I was sitting around, I was talking with Gator, the head coach of Atlanta Reign, talking with like Gator, Hawk, and like Kai. I was sitting there just like chatting, and I was like, we were chatting, you know? And I was talking about how in 2019-ish, when I was like deciding if I wanted to be a player still, go to casting, or like maybe become a coach or something, like early 2019 after I got released from Boston, Brad reached out to me and was like, hey, do you want to talk about potentially becoming like, you know, just like touchy, like maybe an interview for a coach job for Atlanta Reign. Like, it was not an offer. It was literally just like he was thinking about like coming and talking with me about like, what are my thoughts about me being a coach for them or something. And then he ghosted me.
Hope you have a nice
and then,
so
I don't know if you guys, I posted a tweet like at the grand finals where like he responds like 4 years later. 4 years later, because I was talking with the Atlanta Reign players in the lobby of the hotel, and they went back and had a team meeting and told Brad about this conversation about how he ghosted me. And then, like, he responds to me on Discord, like, 3 years later, being like, hey, just saw this. Like, where I would have to scroll through my Twitter to go find it. And I was like, I can't believe this. What this man's done. So, and then I was like, I went back up to Brad later after they were eliminated, like I think it was the next day or two or something. And I was like, hey, Brad, we're doing a drunk podcast. Also, we want to do it in a hot tub too. We thought it'd just be funny to be in a hot tub and be drinking. Because like I knew at that time he was retiring. Because he had mentioned to me that he was going to retire. And I was like, well, wouldn't it be interesting if we did a drunk hot tub podcast with Brad and he talked about his career and like reason, you know, all this other stuff. But then, so he agreed to do it, and then Albert fucked up the times. We went to dinner. Albert overscheduled the fucking dinner. It ran too long, and then Brad was like, it's a little too late, and like I'm gonna back out. And I was like, oh god, fucking damn it. So we lost the Brad Rajani drinking podcast, hot tub podcast, because of Albert's inability to schedule. I had worked so hard on it too. I had done all this. I had gotten the agreed upon guests. Luckily, we'd also talked to Unter because we wanted to do multiple, and Unter was like, "Oh yeah, I'm down to do I still want to do a podcast," and we did. It wasn't a hot tub though, unfortunately, because then for some reason a Christian I don't know if it was a Christian youth group, but a youth group started staying at the hotel and occupying all the hot tubs at the hotel. This teenage youth group had come to the hotel where a bunch of the staff and players were staying, and were occupying all the hot tubs. So I can't really we can't just sit in the hot tub and drink. It would have been very weird. It would have been very awkward, essentially, and record this podcast. So you could ask them to leave. I mean, we don't really have any authority to ask them to leave. We don't really have any authority to be like, hey, we want to use this hot tub for this thing that's not all related to any official hotel business. So yeah, there was also some, was it Army or Marines? I mean, either way, some sort of U.S. military thing was happening at the hotel. You're adults. You can do whatever you want to children. I don't know. I don't know about that one. No, I'm not going to ban him. He was clearly joking. But Calavera, a.k.a. Cameron. Thank you for the tier 1. Oh, yeah, and also Ruby Sprout, thank you for the tier 1. Hello, sir. Happy birthday. Hope you have a nice one so far. Thank you, Ruby Sprout. I don't know if I missed that, but thank you. Now. What is that? I didn't see this. Hi, I want to offer a promotion of your channel viewers, followers, views, chatbots. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Auto on. Incredibly flexible and convenient order management panel. Everything is in your hands. Turn it off and on, customize. Go to, okay, I'm not going to give the website, but this is paid comment. Actual paid comment for that. What do you think of Hawk being the new moth? Hawk being the new moth. Explain. They're both animals. Hey, Jake for the next one. Jake said he was interested in doing it. Actually, we wanted to get Dante. Because Dante, that man can drink. We want to get Dante. That man, he's become kind of a drinking fiend. He's kind of a bit of a drinking fiend. Apparently not from his tweet. Well, you can drink a lot and not be good at handling your alcohol. You can drink a lot and still puke all over yourself. I'll also say there were some lots of establishments around Anaheim that were, let's just say, not carding. Let's just say there was many Overwatch League gatherings at many establishments around Anaheim that were not carding. And it was quite poppin' at times. It was quite poppin'. I've seen the photos, not too sure about that. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to get Dante was another one. I wanted to get Dante as the guest, potentially. How much can Bryn drink? Bryn is a fucking... So, Cameron can attest to this now. My friend Calavera, who's one of my friends from college, / my old roommate when I lived in Texas. Bryn can drink like a madman. The thing is, and he only saw like a fifth of Bryn's true drinking power. When I go to Austin, it's fucking madness. It's madness. And we drink a lot in Korea. I don't understand. Bryn also would get sick. He got sick twice essentially in Korea and recovered within the span of a day. And then and then he'll wake up. One time we went out with a bunch of people to go get army base stew, so budae, which is a very, if you're someone that likes meat as well, because it's a lot of meat in it, right? But a very revitalizing stew. after you've been drinking is budae. You're sitting there slurping this amazing Korean stew broth with noodles and meat and like, you know, like, and fucking like rice cakes and shit. And like we were drinking the night before, so we're all recovering, but we weren't like terrible. Bryn was fucked because Bryn doesn't drink a single thing of water when he drinks. So Josh doesn't drink water at all. Sideshow doesn't drink water at all. He just doesn't. He's a cactus. Bryn drinks water, but never when he drinks. So he's always waking up destroyed. But he never does anything differently. He just keeps waking up destroyed. And so one time we were sitting down at this restaurant the morning after. We went to like a lunch at like 12. We didn't get breakfast. We just went straight to lunch at like 12. We sat down and we're eating and shit. It's delicious. In Korea-style restaurants, you know, it's just like a giant pot of stew and a table. And you're just sitting there. You have these fucking glasses of water you just go get from a fridge and bring it down and you're pouring it. And we're chowing down. And he walks in a husk. A literal zombie of a person. He's destroyed. He hasn't showered. His mustache is askew. And he just sits down and is like gingerly slurping the stew. And he's like, "You've saved my life. You've saved my life today." And he's like, and he's like, I was like, "Did you have anything to like eat or drink after going out?" And he's like, "No, I just drank alcohol and went to bed." And he does this like every time. Literally every time he does this. Without fail. He never stops. He said this to the stew? No, he said this to us because we had the stew ready for him. I don't think he said it to the stew. He said this to us. An actual guy. He is simply untamed. He's actually untamed. Legitimately. So, now people have seen some of the mere fraction of Bryn's power. A mere fraction of Bryn's power has been gleaned by those that have not seen what he can do. Will you ever go on a pub crawl in the UK? Yes. Because I will be going to the UK. I've made it a mission to go to the UK next year. I think. So, and I'm going to meet up with a bunch of friends, and I'm going to pub crawl in the UK. I've made it a mission of myself to go to... I want to see, I want to see it. You're going to get mugged? I'm not going to get mugged. I'm not going to get mugged. You're gonna get scammed instead. That's not up to you? Wrong. They don't know what these fists can do. They don't know what these fists can do, pal. Did you discover you like being choked in Korea? Dude. Okay, so that was a separate issue. The night I got really drunk, I then woke up the next day with an iconic photo. I don't know if you guys have seen this photo. Here's the fan art of the photo. I don't really think it captures me that well. I don't really think this captures it. The nose picture went crazy. Yeah, so Bryn is also on a kick still, as you saw throughout Korea. He only posts like 0.6 zoomed photos with like a near fisheye lens of people's faces, and he loved doing it to me the whole time because I have a very prominent nose. Look at this bad boy. Look at this. See that profile? Do you see that? Do you see that? Very prominent profile. See that one? I got a schnoz on me. So he loves doing those photos. And so if someone took a photo of me, well, I know it was Bryn. We were at this one bar with Wolf and his wife and a bunch of other, and it was the rest of our group. And that's where we started. That's why I started to get very drunk. And then there was a photo that came out of like someone, Bryn taking this photo. So here's Bryn's hand. What's not pictured in this was that Alice, the former Fusion University team manager, who came out with us a lot of times and hung out on Airbnb with like Swing Ship and us. She was like to hold my head still for the photo for some reason. She like, and this is the first time I met her. Literally the first time I met her. She like grabbed me by the throat when I'm really drunk and held my head so so they could take the photo. I didn't even remember this. And like, I just woke up the next day and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, first of all, what was this photo? And secondly, why is there a hand around my throat? And it was, so yeah, this is the explanation for that photo. Make sure you visit Weatherspoons and post your table number for free milk. Why would I want free? Who drinks milk? Who's just going to a place and drinking milk? Who's doing that? Guys, that is disgusting. That's disgusting behavior. No, who's drinking milk in the year of our Lord 2022, soon to be 2023?
I drink milk.
Mega, thank you for the prime. I've asked, when you attach memes to your tweets, do you have those saved or do you get them somewhere? Well, okay, so I'm gonna ask a question. So yes, I do already have the photos pre-ready, but also, like, what is the difference between having them saved and getting them somewhere? Would I still have to put them somewhere saved to retrieve them? So I don't get it. A meme folder? Yeah, I have a meme folder. I have my photos on my phone that I have a lot. I have a folder on both my work PC and my personal PC titled Twitter memes. So yes, I pre-find them because I'm like, either when I'm like just see them online or I'm scrolling through Twitter or stuff, I just save photos. I'll order you a portion of mushy peas and English breakfast tea. I mean, honestly, I like mushy peas, and I don't mind English breakfast tea. I don't mind English breakfast tea either.
Avast! Arr!
I like peas too. I don't know about you. I enjoy peas. Mushy peas with a little bit of, maybe a little bit of mint in them. A little bit of mint in them too. I don't think that's that bad. Mint? Yeah, a little tiny bit. A little tiny bit of mint. Mint and peas go well together. Have you guys never had any mint and peas? Like, ever? It's not bad. It's not bad. I promise you.
Avast! Arr!
Web Devin, thank you for the tier 1.
UK Collegiate Finals next Saturday, or you're a fake British.
The UK Collegiate Finals next Saturday. Actually, let me look at something. Next Saturday, actually, I'm making up a fight I had with Matt Rinholt, the wrestler, who's also a fan of Overwatch, because I ghosted him at the finals because because he ghosted me in San Antonio, and so I'm actually going to. So I'll stream on next Saturday probably, but it'll be early because I'm gonna go to I'm going out with him in Florida because he's gonna be down here. I'm making it out. I'm making it up for him. Minted peas. Why don't you mint a piece of balls on the blockchain? Great joke. Most comedic Twitch chatter has logged on. Most comedic Twitch chatter has logged on. They've done it. So yes, I think minted peas is actually, but you know, I want to tell you what's weird culinarily. So Swing Chip took us to a very traditional fish market, which I requested to do as well in South Korea. So you walk into a downstairs area and there's like all these stalls filled with live fish and like vendors. And so like you can go and pick out your fish and then you go upstairs and then they serve you the fish you picked. But I didn't know, but they don't, I guess you don't choose the way it gets served. There's like, they just have a preset like way they prepare the fish or whatever. And so I wanted to eat the penis fish, the gable. The gable, in honor of Gable She, Mr. Penis Fish. If you guys remember that guy. So I wanted to eat the gable, the penis fish. And so the other thing that we got was, because I thought they were all going to be like cooked in like a stew or maybe like grilled. They were not. They were raw, which I don't mind because I like sushi. I like sushi and sashimi and stuff. But so they were served like freshly slaughtered raw. And also Swing Chip got us a sea cucumber and also octopus that was freshly slaughtered, so that it was so fresh the tentacles still wriggled. So I ate those three things, and then we had some whitefish sashimi, which was like essentially normal. So I tried all three of those because I'm a very adventurous eater for the most part. It was not a good time. Like the penis fish, the taste, all fine. The texture, let me tell you, the texture, not good. It was quite awful. I had to like, I was like, like for like 30 minutes. It was rough. It was rough. And on top of that, the sea cucumber was literally the hardest thing I've ever eaten in my life. Literally, a sea cucumber was the hardest thing I've ever eaten in my life. I don't know why. Swing Chip was over there. She was like going crazy. It was like eating a rock. I was like literally biting down with all my force. I was biting down with all my force to fucking eat this. It was impossible. Also not very good, in my opinion. The live octopus, they're not the live, but the recently slaughtered octopus with the tentacles, that was probably the best part. But when you ate it, the suckers they were still sucking onto the roofs of your mouth. So as I ate it, it was like sucking at the inside of my mouth. The suckers like. So that one was the best of them, but it was I don't know. The rest of it was fine. Like we had grilled eel, a very nice fish stew, some steamed like clams and such. Like that was fine. The first bit was not that good for me. The first bit was not my favorite. Steamed ham? No, steamed clam. Steamed clam. You can put the nose picture away. It's scaring me now. Okay. Dude, there's nothing wrong with my nose. There's nothing wrong with my nose, man. Dev update? Where? Where is it? Where? Searching? Ramatra's beginnings? I mean, this is gonna be, is this like a nonsensical, like, is it just like a lore? Am I about to see lore? Or is this gonna be like how we started drawing him?
Jurgens Fury, lead narrative designer on the Overwatch team, here to talk to you about our newest tank hero, Ramatra.
Ramatra, at your side.
Ramatra we last saw
It is a cool name.
at the end of the Storm Rising cinematic. We've always been planning to bring him back, and this is the moment of his ascension.
Yeah, sure.
To understand Ramatra, we must return to the Omnic Crisis.
Okay, so this is lore. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care, I'm sorry. Don't care. I do not care about lore in the slightest. Wrong video? Okay, I'll go to a new video. This is the same video! You've linked me the same video.
Avast! Arr!
I want my lore. I gave you money for it match.
You've linked me the same video. Advice Guru or Artemis. Thank you for the Prime, the 16 months. I think Artemis is the one that gave us COVID, by the way, in Korea. Just gonna say that out there. Advice Guru with the bits. Wrong. Actual dev update? Okay, let's take a look.
I was there, Gandalf.
Oh my god. Actually, wait. Let me find this. Did I guys show you? Did I show you what I got at Grand Finals? I think you guys, if you guys haven't watched Plat Chat, look what I got at Grand Finals. It was in the wash, but look, the Martha Stewart cow shirt. The Martha Stewart cow shirt. Someone, I gotta turn off the green screen for a second. I can't. I don't want to deal with this. But yeah, the Martha Stewart cow shirt. Let me fix it. Here, I can fix it. 1 second. Filters. There we go. See, look. There it is. I was given this at Grand Finals. Wasn't it Taylor? It was not Taylor. Taylor took a picture of me with it. Taylor did not give it to me. Taylor did not give it to me. Do not let Taylor do stolen valor. Stolen shirt valor. Okay? Don't let her commit that. Okay. Where can I cop? I honestly don't know. I'm sure you could just put it on a shirt, right? You know? Here, wait. Let me get another drink real quick. Okay. So yeah, I got that shirt at World Cup. That was cool. Oh, banana. What time is it? 5:25. This video has actual gameplay. Alright. I wasn't expecting that. You can't keep taking these L's. Someone, it's actually just the meme of like, just like the guy putting his hands over his head. You can't keep taking these L's. What a tasty banana. What a tasty banana that was. I'm unaffected by your troll, by the way. Because I have a rock solid mental now. Ever since I went to Korea and had the worst hangover of my life, my mental is unbreachable. What are my thoughts on New Hero? New Hero's cool. I think we talked about it a little bit earlier, but let me have some sparkling water real quick. But like, I think it's how they need to do, the overall design philosophy makes sense because we need like tanks that can be really dynamic and can do a decent amount in a single tank environment. Also, you want people to play tanks. He might be slightly overkitted though. I think he might currently be a little bit overkitted. But that's to be expected. I also find it funny that essentially we talked about how like barriers can be pretty strong and we added yet another movable barrier. But granted, that's only with 2 tanks, right? Not with 1. So like, but essentially we just gave him, Orisa/Sigma shield. So what the fuck? Y'all have sparkling water in a can? Where else would you put sparkling water? Where else aren't most carbonated beverages like either in a glass bottle or aluminum cans? So in one of the 2 places. In the trash? Wrong. Wrong. Oh, new map? Yeah, it's Shambali or whatever, right? Shambolic. Yo, what? Whoa, do you hear this? What's this music? Wait. Wait, banger? Wait. LeBron Jam? Wait, I need to replay this. Replay! I need to replay this.
Cat J-A-M.
This beginning part. The monastic chanting? These monks go hard. This is essentially just Big Nepal, though. This is just Big Nepal. Essentially. Essentially what we're getting. Which I don't have a problem with. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, depending on how the map design is. We really haven't seen much of the actual, like, map design, you know? So we don't actually know what's up with what the map looks like yet, right? We just know that, like, we know the design of it, like the theme, but we don't really know, like, how the chokes are set up, like, where the card's gonna be, because it's an escort, correct? So we don't know where the card's gonna be, like, where the fight's gonna take place. So, at least it ain't push. True! Though I will, like I said, I think push has grown on me a little bit more. I don't love it still, but after they did the time change, push has grown on me a bit. Damn, Avast has a massive nose. Yes. Yes. Miss this tweet? Oh, it was like a commercial for, what is this? I don't know what X-Pen is, but they just stole Dorado.
Welcome back, Avast. I just got here, so I don't know if you already discussed this, but with the whole
What's up, Shiro?
situation in APAC, and now that Houston let go of Danta, can Glads make it into the summer showdown?
No.
Avast!
No.
Avast is back.
Listen. Actually, okay, also, this is a secondary point. Thank you, Glacier, by the way, for the tier 1. Has anyone else noticed, I don't know if it's just me, my Twitter feed is this is going to tie into the Gladiators thing. My Twitter feed has been pushing me an insane amount of content that I do not follow. Like, just from, like, stuff that's, like, vaguely related to the people that I do follow. Like, I've been getting, like, so many stuff and, like, categories of shit that I never saw before. And I'm like, what is happening? So then, secondary to that point, there was, like, an account. It's called, like, I can't remember what it was called, like, Overwatch League Takes or something. I don't follow it. I don't know anyone that follows it. And then they posted something where it was like, if Patapan had played for the Glads, he would have got an MVP over Proper or something. I was like, Glads, huh? But like, where is this coming from? I don't follow these accounts. I'm getting like random categories bombarded at me. I feel like I've been uploaded into fucking Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse, but it's all still Twitter, and I'm just getting bombarded with all sorts of shit now. I don't know what's happening. Don't follow Anime Topic. It's a thirst trap. I don't follow the Anime Topic. Why am I getting recommended it? Why am I getting followed? Why? Is it because so many esports people and players are weebs? Is that why? I have seen more big titty goth, like, girls, anime girls, on my timeline than I've seen in the past, like, 4 years of using the website. It's just anime booba. It's anime booba, like, all the way down. Do you have your timeline set to home? If so, that's why. Let me check. Timeline set to home. How do I... Your timeline is set to home. Oh, so should I be latest tweets? Wait. That's so much better. That's a lot better. Okay. Whew. That's honestly horrible. You should send the link so we can all block those images. Where are those terrible images located? We should block them. We should all make sure to get rid of those images. No one wants to see that. Oh, what? Is this your first day on Twitter? I pretty much, with every website I've ever used and every social media app I've ever really used, which has mostly been Twitter, honestly, because I don't really use Instagram very much aside of posting cat pictures, and I don't personally use TikTok. I just show up, I log in, and I just like, here's a thought. Ooh, I'm reading a thought, and then I'm done. No. Like, I've had to learn about them on the back ends for analytic purposes and, like, how we, like, make content, but not actually about, like, the various settings of the website. You know, this video, I will cry eternally and shrink into a PPL S-sized people sad. Okay, I'm going to watch this. Just for you. Just for you. All this talk is great, but how are you doing? I'm doing good. I beat COVID. I turned in like 60 receipts yesterday for the end of our financial year, essentially, for stuff I had to get I have put on my company card from like traveling grand finals and shoots and things. So I'm doing well. So now I'm back on the horse until I got to leave to go see my...
Go! Why are you guys so scared of this team?
Is this the super is marketable video?
What team do you play on? So good! I'm so good!
Also, what's really nice about this, actually, I'm going to pause this video, because this video, I've already seen this. Hasn't everyone seen this? This video came out 3 years ago. This video came out 3 years ago. Why are we watching this now? It is a historic classic. But they, Mr. DeLisi, Super's father, always remembers, because I don't do birthday posts myself. I don't do birthday posts or anything. Like, not to shit on anyone that does. Everyone feel free to do whatever you want with your birthday. I don't do birthday posts. But he always remembers every time that's like, happy birthday, Connor. He always, I haven't played with his son in like 5 years, and he still remembers to be like, happy birthday. What a nice guy. What a nice guy his dad is. He's the GOAT. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT. Okay, I'll let you play through it just because you requested, and then I think we're gonna move into. I also met Dante's parents actually at the grand finals too.
My penis on the table, and I say bask in all its goddamn glory.
Dante's parents are very nice. Ah, goats. Remember this? Was Dante's little brother there? No.
You wanna see my belly?
Oh, gee. Why are there 6 players, guys? I don't understand. Is someone on Echo? Someone duplicating?
Oh no, dude. Oh, there it is, chat. Chat, just don't. Nice. Push, push, push.
Classic. Just classic. Paris, Horizon Lunar Colony. Remember what we used to have? Oh my god, man.
God fucking damn it, dude.
Remember what we used to have? Paris, Horizon Lunar Colony. Dude, look at him. Look how young he was. Look how young he was.
He got me. Bumper said if Super shatter over him. That fucking Super boomed me.
Super looks like a middle-aged accountant now. Bro, isn't Bumper LFT? Is Bumper LFT? That's crazy. Bumper's like, hey, the whole fucking region's exploded. Time to come LFT. Hoxel and Bumper are like, oh yeah, whole Apex is fucking destroyed via Borpa business. Time to come back. Time to return. Ah, man. In many ways, you're really the general psychosis of Shock fans. This is what did it. What we're witnessing on our screen right now, this is what generally developed the psychosis for Shock fans. Is this year. This is this GOAT's gameplay.
Bumper added, he's so good, repeating it 4 times. Bumper then said he wanted to add Super to the list of players he works out with this summer.
It's a sturdy motherfucker. That's gonna go. That's gonna go. That's gonna go. What do you mean you can't just keep...
Oh, this is a classic clip. I love this clip.
I'm not even worried. No, I'm not even worried.
Oh, this is so I mean, he's trying so hard.
This is gone. It's gone, dude. He's still bending, right? It's gone. It's a Nokia.
Dude, Bryn used to look like... Okay. Also, Bryn transformed into is like, oh, like, what a respectable looking young man to like... He looks like the dude that shows up with like in every like hipster bar whose girlfriend has a septum piercing now. He's transformed. His pipeline has gone from clean shaven young British lad to like the guy with the mustache at every hipster bar. He's truly completed the pipeline. It's incredible. What living in America does to a motherfucker. Classic vid. Now, I'll give you, we still have like, before I swap over to the game to chat fucking CBTing me in Redneck Simulator. Now, Atlanta. Atlanta's interesting because they're the only team that's actually currently, like, well, actually, they're not the only team. So here's the thing. So Atlanta has not been signing free agents, right? Which is why you've been seeing their roster announcements. They've been, like, buying players, essentially. They've been agreeing to just buy players, like, buy them out from rosters or trade for, like, money and stuff like that. Which is, like, also, I don't understand why in the Overwatch League, for some reason, we refer to a trade. I don't know if this is a sports thing. Maybe I'm just misinformed. But I don't know why we can call a player getting bought out of their contract a trade. Can you call that a trade still, or is that just a sell? A sale? Well, that's just a sale. But it's an acquisition of football. Yeah, I would assume that's just like a transfer or a trade or a sale versus a trade. I don't really understand it. But either way, so trade money for a human. I mean, true, but like it's such a like ooga booga way of like doing the trade, right? Me trade money versus like trading players versus like a bartering system. It's such an ooga booga way of like using the word trade. Like, I don't know. It's just I find it just not, it's not subtle enough. It's not as refined for my taste. Why did you talk about Atlanta, prick? Well, so essentially, that's why you're seeing all the Atlanta stuff, is because they're actually just buying players wholesale. They're trading cash for players. And no one else, and a lot of other players, a lot of teams actually done that as well. They just don't have their announcements done. Like, I know at least one other team that's done that, but they don't have their announcements done yet. Additionally, like, there's all these other teams, like, it kind of speaks to the whole, like, free agent stuff in general. Like, the free agent stuff being pushed back with such poor communication is really annoying, because a ton of teams have verbally agreed with, like, as far as I'm aware, like, a lot of teams. Like, I'm thinking, like, 6 to 7 plus have verbally agreed with players that are free agents. Like, we're going to sign you. We are going to work together. Here's our contract terms, right? But obviously you can't officially sign them, type of thing. But yeah, that essentially for Atlanta, that's why you're seeing the Atlanta announcements, because they're just outright buying players that are not free agents and announcing it. Now, as for Atlanta's roster, holy fuck, what is he cooking? Actually, what is he cooking over there? But with Gator as the head coach. I also find Gator as a head coach really interesting, because, like, I know that he's probably one of the more mature ones, honestly. Here's the thing, despite, like, all the memes around Gator, I actually like Gator. I think he's a very fun guy. He's fungible, even. He's fungible. And he is mature in many ways, in certain ways. But so, I'm just interested that he's immediately moved to head coach. So I don't know, like, what his, I just don't know, because, like, it's like Toby, right? I didn't know what exactly Toby's was going to be like as a head coach, and it seemed like it worked out pretty decently for Seoul. And then he also got Wizard from, like, it's literally, it's the Toby arc. He's getting the same assistant coach, man. Technically, he wasn't an assistant coach. He was, like, a strategist. But, like, it feels like the Toby arc, you know? Yeah, I'm sure he did a lot of back-end stuff with Atlanta anyways. So, I don't know what his coaching ability is going to be.
Why
Mr. Chip,
Tipo
give it a
happy?
tier 1. Why does everyone like Wizard Young? Well, technically, Wizard Young had, if you take only his teams, not his impact, right? Because it's really hard to determine his impact. New York, when he was on New York, incredible team. Justice, dumpster fire when he was a coach. Went to Seoul, pretty good team this year. A pretty good team. So, like, I don't know. Like, it's based off his team experience, he's 2 for 3. If you take his team, like, performance. Now, how much of the team performance is tied to him? Also, that's, you know, I don't think there's, like, I think the reality of Wizards just wasn't a good head coach. Like, it's just, he probably wasn't a good head coach. He's not really a good coach. He's a better strategist. That's probably That's probably the thing for him. And that's what it seems like based on everything I know. Also, I think that, like, the rosters that he works with are very different, too. But there's not a coach on this planet that could make Washington good. But here's the thing. So here is the thing. The reason Washington weighs so heavily is not just because of the performance of that team. He made the team. There's not a coach on this planet that could have made Washington good. Well, then don't sign him. Don't make the team. If the team was the problem, and you made the team, that is a pretty big demerit against your overall ability, you know? So that is, to me, my biggest demerit against Wizard overall, is like, Washington was such a black mark upon him in terms of, like, not just because he was the coach, but he as a head coach, you have a huge hand, in fact, a majority point of building the roster, generally. GMs don't typically really build a roster. It's like GMs working with a head coach, or a head coach making a lot of the decisions. So, you know. Was Vancouver dropping D-Pay? I think when the tell-all book of Overwatch League comes out, there's going to be a narrative that will be diffused about certain things. It's not, a lot of the stuff is just internal drama. So, did I tell the shoe story? I didn't tell the shoe story. No. How often do you wear the bit shirt? This would be my, I mean, I don't wear it out in public. I essentially only wear it out when I only wear it to, like, when I'm in my house or in bed and stuff. I wore it, like, in Seoul, like, in the Airbnb. I never wore it out because I don't know, like, it's not something I'd wear outside. So, will you write the book? Maybe. I don't know. You think Defiant going to get Angry Titans? Or why do I keep saying Angry Titans? American Tornado. I think it's the most likely option just because they're probably one of the few rosters that are willing to spend money to keep them all together and actually care about having, like, a Western core again, I think. And they have Kasoris as their head coach. So, write the book, you coward, or illiterate. Or illiterate. Never heard that one. Write it or you're illiterate. Any chance Shock lets anyone yoink Max from O2? Oh, it's probably unlikely, because it's more so like a pedigree thing. Shock has been being able to yoink players, like, sure, they have, like, a relatively solid budget, but it's mostly they just have the pedigree to bring people to them. So, they have the pedigree to just yoink players. So, see, Prophet's a free agent? I did. Prophet, that guy can go anywhere, so, like, I don't know. But there's a very real chance Prophet might still want to stay in APAC, like, try to stay on a Seoul-based team just to be in Korea still. Because he's never played on a mixed roster. So, does have the rights to sign him unless someone pays him because they have own O2? Is that true? I actually don't know that. I actually didn't know they entered into a partnership with O2. Do they own O2? I didn't actually know that. Prophet would be insane on Shock. Dude, I love this meme of, like, every single player. Obviously, he would be, but, like, every single player someone's been typing would be insane on Shock. Like, like, literally for every player someone's been typing would be insane on Shock. I did watch Max live. I watched one Contenders Korea match in the venue, and I watched when they played the second best Korean Contenders team with that had Neist, and Max did kind of fucking dookie on them. Max did in fact dookie upon them. So, he's looking pretty good. Second right now, or maybe it was the second at the time when they were playing. Maybe it was just the second at the time. Was T1 the second best at the time when I watched? I can't remember. I thought it was Pantera. I know O2 was the best. Oh, sorry, kitty. I thought also it wasn't T1, it was Pantera. But maybe I'm yeah. Yeah, because it was nice on Pantera that was with them, not T1. Well, either way, they were still a pretty, they were a pretty good team at the time. I thought they were ranked number 2 at the time is what I was told. But maybe I was misinformed because I obviously didn't pull out my phone and check. Even though I had one of the Wi-Fi packs, so I had Wi-Fi everywhere, but I just didn't do it. And then, so still like a top 4 team or whatever. So like they fucking dookied upon this team. So, but yeah, I didn't know that O2 was an academy team of shock. Actually, I actually did not know that. I feel like I probably should have known that, but so if they are an academy team, it's pretty hard to yoink a player because if you're signed to an actual academy, it depends also if Max is under an academy contract or not. He has to actually be under an academy contract. Like, if he is under like an academy player contract, they'll have the first rights to him, pretty much. I'd imagine. Max isn't, but he's saying is. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know if that's true, by the way, but someone said it's true, so very interesting. Now, but yeah, so there was the point about Atlanta I was making. Something about that. Oh, yeah, their roster is good, looking pretty fucking nasty with who they've picked up so far, because they've currently picked up they have Vigilante, Hawk, Lip, Stalker. That's pretty fucking nasty. Like, keeping Vigilante, getting Lip, and getting Stalker, insane. And then they kept Hawk, who I think is a very, very good player still. That's an insane roster. I just don't know what their like other support players are going to be, but who are my top 5 free agents right now? Prophet. Let's see. I got Prophet, of course. I think Hanbin. Essentially, the Hanbin, like Prophet, fucking Fielder, man. Like Chio. I mean, like there's an insane amount of good free agents. Is Smurf a free agent? Smurf has to be Smurf's a free agent, right? So like fucking Smurf. Like Shu, yeah. I mean, there's so many that it's almost impossible to count like how many good free agents there are. Twilight's a free agent. Chorong's a free agent. Fucking there's fucking Happy, Dante. There's Kaluge. Like, there's literally such an amazing pool of free agents right now. An incredible pool of free agents. It's legitimately insane. I think it would be crazy if I have heard. I've also Merritt's a free agent as well. I have heard where Chorong and Merritt have gone. Isn't he? Isn't Merritt a free agent? Not yet? Okay. Well, Merritt's still on Houston. Okay, guys? Merritt's still on Houston. He hasn't gone anywhere. Merritt's still on Houston. He hasn't gone anywhere. He's gone nowhere. Merritt's gone nowhere. He's still on Houston. He removed Houston from his bio. Well, the thing is, he's still there. He hasn't gone anywhere. He hasn't gone anywhere. He's still there. Okay. But yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting overall. It's going to be an interesting year. So I think Atlanta's team is a potential, depending on who else they get for support positions and how else they fill out, like maybe they're, I mean, technically, am I misremembering? Let me see something. I can't remember if I'm remembering Stalker's hero pool. Stalker can play, is a flex player. So theoretically, they could run with a Lip Stalker DPS line as is if they wanted to. But I wouldn't be shocked if they get like another DPS just to like have someone to fill out. But Stalker, yeah, is a very flexible player. But like whoever they get for their support player, that roster is theoretically, depending on what happens to like other rosters, is theoretically championship caliber. It is theoretically, that roster is theoretically championship caliber. Thoughts of Vindime? Very, very good player. I wouldn't have him like necessarily my top free agent list right now because there's just so many, but he's like, that's just like a fact that there's just so many players, right? Especially a lot of like really good DPS and tank players. So, what do you think about Atlanta signing Cluj? I don't think there's a reason for them to because they're very committed to the Hawk solo tank. They're pretty committed to the Hawk solo tank, it sounds like. Don't forget about Wub. Yeah, sure. Also, Vindam, Chio, Lijagon are going to Dallas, Shock, or Rain. Probably. That would be my guesses. My guesses would be they end up on one of those teams. Are you being OG still in Atlanta? No, I don't think so, right? Did they get released? I have no idea if they've been officially released or not. I actually have no clue. But I would assume if they're building a mostly Korean roster. Yeah, they're released, yeah. So, you being Ultraviolet, I think Ultraviolet actually had a good year. I think OG had a bit of a rougher year. But part of that was just because of how... part of that was partially like how some of the hero pools worked out, I think, for some of the metas. But I still think OG and Ultraviolet are, like, especially Ultraviolet, who's, like, proved himself, I think, on the stage. But, like, I think they're both still good candidates to go places. I think they're both still great candidates. So I think I would like to see them head to, like, somewhere like Titans, potentially. What's up, Sleeping Fox? Thank you for the tier 1. Toronto would make sense, too. Toronto wouldn't be a bad place if the rumors are true. I mean, depending on who else, like, depending on how else, like, rosters shake out, right? Because I imagine Houston, I don't know what Houston's going to do because Dante's gone. So I'm like, to me, you would keep Dante if you want to build a Western team. I would think. Unless they're still in negotiations with him, right? Because maybe his contract just ended. So, I don't know. So, so for me, like, that backline is, they're looking for a Western team, obviously. Probably not a mixed roster, but it's possible. They're building around Merit? True, they're building around Merit. They're retiring his jersey? Okay, so he's not coming back. So, Dante is not coming back. Fate destination? I don't know. Fate's an interesting one because I kind of think a lot of people are not like big on Fate right now. I think the general sentiment is a lot of people aren't big on Fate. It's not that people think he's bad. It's just like with Max entering the market and like a bunch of other tanks, people are not like, I haven't heard like a lot of hype around potentially grabbing Fate. So I don't know. But, I mean, good player. Could definitely go a lot of different play. I think you'd prefer probably a full Korean roster. With all due respect, they also retired Jake's jersey. Does Jake play for them, though? Huh? Huh? Oh, that's right. They retired it, and then, I forgot the timeline. I forgot they retired it, and then they hired him on as the player coach, and he benched Juby. Oh, bro. Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that one. I forgot about the timeline. For some reason, I thought they retired his jersey post that season. I thought they retired his jersey post that season. But no, that's not what happened. So yeah, I think I'm hoping that UV and OG get like another shot on another roster. But like the free agent market is just crazy right now because the thing is you're getting a bunch of Korean players from APAC that are fleeing the region and like China and such, and also just like and also even like Seoul and Fusion because like players want to get paid, and I don't. From what I'm hearing is that those teams they're able to attract talent because players want to be in Korea, but they don't have like huge budgets. So there's so many free agents that are running around for North American teams, and a lot of verbal agreements have been had already. And the free agent deadline keeps getting pushed, so like keeps making it more uncertain. And like also the other thing that fucking sucks about the free agent deadline being pushed is that like a lot of players, how contracts work in Overwatch League is they're annualized in terms of their what you get paid as a player. So like you don't get you get agreed upon like a 50K rate. So it's like essentially $4,000 like a month, right, in pay if you get like the league minimum of like 50,000 or like 51K. But it's an annualized rate. So like you're agreeing like I'm agreeing that this is the rate I'm gonna get paid. And if you take a month off the window for when you can sign free agents, that means there's like, even though you've agreed to sign this player, that means the player still can't get, unless the org just wants to voluntarily start paying them earlier. Like, well, actually, no, it's not even that, because the thing is the org literally can't start paying them earlier unless they have, because they're a free agent. They can't sign them. So like they lose a month of pay, pretty much. Then they increased the min rate. The min rate got increased to like, they're essentially at 51,000. I believe. It's like 51,000 now is the minimum pay. So it's been increased twice up to 51K, I believe. So yes, the minimum 5-man's also bad for the players too, because the orgs are also able to like wait longer to have rostered players so they don't have to pay them as much. Like essentially all the way they pushed all this stuff means that players literally just lose money for the year because orgs can wait longer to officially start paying them. So that means that like it just sucks for all the players because of the deadlines getting pushed back. The real question though that is brought up by all this though is that like ideally what you'd want to do is you'd want to have like your roster practicing well before 2 weeks before the season starts, right? But like if you're a really cheap team, what if you just don't roster any players, but you have them like under verbal agreement, and then you sign them like 2 weeks before essentially, and then you start practicing just to save money? That would be very interesting. Yeah, but I feel like if they had the chance to pay to confirm a player, they would, like Max. I mean, if you're really, yeah, like a player like Max that potentially has a lot of interest and is very good, yes, but like there's a bunch of players that don't necessarily fit into like the superstar, highly sought after category, you know? There's like so many players that aren't Max. Can't you practice with unsigned players? You could, but like players would be really stupid to start doing official scrims without being signed. That would just be like why would you scrim for a team that you're not getting paid for? You know? That's pretty awful in my opinion. Like it's one thing if you're doing a tryout, but if you're like, "Oh, we're picking you up," then that's kind of shitty. Yeah. So tell that to all tier 2 players? Well, I mean, they're in tier 2. What? I literally will. You're in tier 2. There's no money. I just come back from being gone for 2 hours and you're still sitting here. That was the goal of the stream, to talk for about 2 hours and then start playing games. Tier 2 Valorant gets paid? Not that much. And also tier 2 Valorant is also an overinflated bubble as well. It depends. Certain teams get paid a lot. Certain teams get paid very little. Tier 2 is pretty universal poverty across the board in esports. And the only time that it's not really poverty is like when it's a massive bubble and it's still very unsustainable for orgs. Like, Tier 2 is not a sustainable ecosystem in any game to pay a lot of money in. So people generally don't get paid, or if they're getting paid a lot, it's very unsustainable. Or even reasonable amounts. So Tier 2 Valor is worth paying for because you make it to Tier 1? Yeah, but like what's the... So here's the question, right? So let's say to earn your way into a Tier 1 spot in Valorant, you have to pay essentially Tier 1 salaries because you're competing... You want the best players that can literally win Tier 2, right? And also, like, generally you also potentially want them to be competitive in Tier 1, potentially. So you're paying essentially Tier 1 salary levels to try to build a team to when there's no guarantee you're going to win your region, right? You're not going to get, there's no guarantee you like win your region to get into Ascension. And then on top of that, even if you somehow do win, so you paid a bunch of money and you do win, so you've gone Tier 1. The problem is if you're not part of one of the originally franchised teams, after like 2 years, you're still guaranteed to fall out of Tier 1 because of how their franchise system works. They're like pretty much how it works is you can earn your way into Tier 1, but unless you're part of their original franchising teams or an officially partnered team, you fall out of Tier 1 too. So you don't get to keep your Tier 1 slot forever. You can't just keep defending it. You only get it for 2 years and then you fall out. That's how the Valorant like franchise, like the Ascension model works. And on top of that, that's still like even getting Tier 1, how do you think teams are making money in Tier 1 Valorant? Do you think teams are making money in Tier 1 Valorant? They're not. The answer is they're not. The stipend that Riot gives them doesn't even pay for the rosters. So like there is no like real incentive. That's the problem inherently with Tier 2, right? Do they at least start in a better position to get back into Tier 1 after falling out? I'm not totally certain, but it's a possibility. I'm not... It's crazy because imagine the team gets into Ascension and dominates all franchise teams. They could literally be the best team in the world for 2 years in Tier 1 and then get removed. Yes. That's the other thing too. Which is just, I mean, like there's not like a perfect system, right? It's like there's always going to be downsides. Thank you, Devoyne. Excellent comment. What needs to happen for esports in general to actually be profitable? Fans have to buy things and be okay with paying for things like tickets and like merch and all sorts of other shit. And on top of that, there just needs to be more people watching that so you can sell broadcast deals. So those are like the two big things. Also on top of that, the number one thing that, in my opinion, that keeps esports from being super unprofitable currently is player salaries. I think player salaries are absolutely through the roof across every esport and completely unsustainable. I think player salary, like the value you get from a player is so inversely related to the amount of value, how much you pay them, essentially, for a lot of esports, for most esports. There are a couple exceptions, but there's a lot of top tier esport players are like just way overpaid comparatively to what value they bring to the organization. So yeah, okay. That's enough talky time, I think. I'm going to do game time where you can still talk, but now I'm going to do game time and you guys are going to torture me in a game called Immortal Redneck where you input commands and choose my path as I play and you get to give me terrible modifiers. You can also still talk to me while I'm playing it. Now we're going from pure talky time to that. Okay. Did ESPN get fucked by the Overwatch League deal? Well, I mean, well, in general, why would any cable program... First of all, why would you put anything on TV in ever? That's my question. Who the fuck wants to put shit on TV? Who the fuck cares about TV? Here we go. Like, there's no reason on earth. I don't know a single person in my life that watches TV. Literally not a single one. I could not name one. And the only people that do it for sports. Ezzo76, thank you for the dad. Thank you for the dad. Thank you for the prime. And if you're going to watch esports, why would you want to watch it on TV? You know? Like, there's just no audience. Okay.